What's good, artists? It's Curtis King of CurtisKingBeats.com here with another Artist Marketing 911. Artists, the topic of the day is merchandise. More specifically, we're going to talk about whether or not you're profiting in your merchandise. We're going to talk about some strategies and how you could better profit in your merchandise. Now, we know the name of the game when it comes to merchandise. You have to have as many opportunities as possible to get paid. Now, I mean that in two senses. I mean that in one being you need to have as many physical options, whether it's credit card, whether it's PayPal, whether it's online, whether it's offline. You want to have as many opportunities as possible for you to get paid so that you don't miss out on any sales. The other side of that is that you want to have as many physical items to sell as merchandise that represents your brand and that is an extension of your music as possible. So that may include t-shirts, CDs, socks, keychains, posters. We'll go over that in more detail in a little bit. But for right now, you must understand the name of the game on both ends of it. To get yourself paid, you got to have more opportunities to get paid. Now, most artists have the typical merchandise. You got your CDs and you have your t-shirts. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. For a lot of people, that's their main source of income on the road or when they're doing shows and they're doing events. They're finding that those are the two main sources of income. But those are by no means the only means of income that you can have when you're talking about selling yourself as an independent artist. Now, even as important as t-shirts and CDs are, the only issue is when you're selling them in physical form, they can have a high overhead. When I say a high overhead, what I'm basically meaning is that they can cost you a lot to actually produce. They can cost you a lot when it comes to going to these companies because these companies don't want you to buy 10 at a time, 20 at a time. They want you to buy in bulk. Most companies want you to buy t-shirts of at least 48, or they want you to buy CDs in 1,000. So unless you have a hookup, you're going to need to learn how to cut your overhead. Now, the different strategies that I'm going to go over are going to definitely talk about cutting your overhead because it can become an expensive game for something that's not promised. You don't know what those t-shirts are going to sell. You don't know what those CDs are going to sell. Now, when it comes to t-shirts, I can tell you from experience, I've tried my hand at many different designs. I've tried my hand at many different styles and many different colorways. And it's a hit or miss game. You don't know what you're going to sell until you actually sell it sometimes. However, there have been developments over the years that have made it to where I don't have to worry about having so much overhead. I've had to pay anywhere from $250 to $700 for a run of 48 t-shirts. And that's just something that it's a risk. And yeah, you want to take risk and you want to take chances. But if you don't have to spend that amount of money and you can actually test the market in another way, why wouldn't you do it? Well, that other way that I suggest is the Printful.com. The Printful.com is basically a website that allows you to upload a design, basically make mock-ups, and show your fans what kind of t-shirt designs you may have in mind. You may have a great design, but you don't want to quite spend that $500 to $700 to get these t-shirts pressed up. Well, the Printful.com gives you the option to actually have people see what it looks like. They can actually pre-order. They can go in and make commentary on it. You can actually post it up to your Instagram and see, hey guys, are you interested in getting a shirt like this? And it gives you a good idea of maybe something that you could possibly print up in the future. Now with the Printful.com, basically they allow you to, like I said, upload your design. You get to basically see it in many different colorways. You get to actually choose the type of t-shirt you want, because that's the problem too sometimes, is that when we're trying to save money as artists, we're trying to save money with these companies we work with, sometimes we go with the cheaper quality, and that's not always good. It's actually never good when it comes to our brand, because eventually these t-shirts have to get washed. And when these t-shirts get washed and your brand name goes along with it, guess what? People stop wearing it, and also too, your reputation goes along with it. Now these shirts that I have right here, these are Roscoe the Taco shirts, shameless plug. I got those from the Printful.com. Super comfortable, super great quality. I didn't even be touching on my chest like that, but you already know, you get the idea. Super great quality. You want to have things that you don't have to pay so much overhead. Well, the beauty with the Printful is that they'll print it up for you, they'll ship it for you, and they'll even put a label on there that has your artist's name so it feels like it came from your company. When it comes to t-shirts, whether you choose to go with the physical form or whether you choose to go with the Printful.com, the name of the game is you want to make sure that you have t-shirts that are inspired by your music. You don't always have to just throw your name on t-shirts and then that just be it. You want to have t-shirts that are inspired by your music. Now, if your music is very emotional, maybe having a emotional figure or emotional message on your actual t-shirt is inspired by your music. Now, some of you have bigger than life personalities. I happen to have one of those personalities that are in your face and that are fun and people remember it. So why would I not make merchandise that are an extension of my character? Roscoe the Taco is a name that I just came up with when doing one of these viral videos for Shit Rappers Say to Producers. I came up with the name and guess what? Now it's become merchandise because it's an extension of my personality. So whatever's an extension of your personality, of your character, that can definitely go in the category of being great merchandise for t-shirts. Now when it comes to CDs, I tend to always have at least 10 to 20 copies of every single project that I have released since I've been a solo artist. And I think that you should do the same thing. Mixtapes, CDs, you want to have all these options available. Why? Because it gives you more opportunities to get paid. Now, if you don't want to go the route of physical copies, you can always get some cards printed up. You can always send people directly to your iTunes or directly to your Apple Music or directly to your Tidal. But you have to have your music up there in order for that to even be an option. Now, if you're like me, I got pretty tired of just selling CDs and t-shirts, and then I felt like just the margins weren't making sense. The profit margins weren't making sense all the time, and that there was such a big risk. I said there's got to be more items for somebody who's a little kid that's coming up to my merchandise booth who's a fan, but his mom only gave him $5 or $10 and he wants to leave with something. So that's when I had the light bulb moment. I said, what can I give him? That's when I started looking into buttons and pins, which you can sell for $2 or $3. That's when I started thinking about keychains, which you can sell for $5 with your logo on it. That's when I started thinking about socks that can be easily $10. When you do that, you give yourself two opportunities, two grand opportunities to start making profit. One, you get to take care of people who don't quite have enough money for a CD or have quite enough money for a t-shirt. You give them the option now to pay for something that's a little bit lower. You even give them the option to leave with more in their hands, which at the end of the day, you want them to leave with more. You want them to be reminded of when they went to your show and they had a certain experience. It's no different from when you go to Dave & Buster's. You go to Dave & Buster's, they give you these tickets for every time that you put coins into these machines. And guess what? When you take all of these tickets, you get a prize. And you get multiple prizes. And as you break down these tickets, you get your big prize and you get smaller prizes. What happens? You start to get these smaller items and you start to collect all of these things. Well, guess what? When all of these little toys and trinkets are sitting around the house, you are reminded to go back to Dave & Buster's. It's no different when it comes to your merchandise. When these fans have these small little trinkets, these keychains that stay on their keys at all times, these socks that they wear every single day, they are constantly reminded, I need to go to a Curtis King show, or I need to go to your show. But you got to give them opportunities. So like I said, it can be pins that they put on their hat. You just want items that they have to use every single day. Hell, you could even get your name printed up on a cup. Not even, it could be a cheap plastic cup that people put pins in. Guess what? Every time they get a pin or go look for a pin, guess who comes to mind because they're using your cup? You. Find more opportunities, find cheaper opportunities. These things are very cheap to get produced for you as well, and that's great when it comes to your profit margins. What I found with these smaller items on tour was that these were literally my saving grace. When I didn't have the notoriety in a certain city to sell t-shirts or CDs, because those are really difficult for somebody to purchase from you when they haven't heard anything from you, and they don't know whether or not that's worth the investment quite yet. When they haven't heard of you, and this is the first time they're buying, this is the first time that they're listening, CDs are a bit more easier to get off, but what's even better than that? A $2, $3 keychain, button, even a bottle opener. I've had bottle openers with Ratchet Still Jockin' on them, which is one of my songs, and those sold like hotcakes. Give yourself more opportunities to get paid, cut the overhead. Something else that I found when it comes to dealing with first-time buyers or dealing with somebody who wants a little bit of everything, bundle deals will save your life. Now, if you can come up with a deal that's like t-shirt, that's usually $20, a CD that's usually $10, a few buttons, even a poster you can throw in there, maybe an autographed poster that you got printed up at Staples or Kinko's or wherever you go. Office Max, you get this printed up on some nice glossy paper. If you can bundle all of these things up and make it for $30, people are more willing to buy that than a CD for $10. It's odd. I don't know what it is. There's a lot of different factors that go into it, but everybody has their own reason why. That's why it is awesome for you to put together bundle deals, just to give them the option to walk away with everything. Now, ideally, if you can come up with a bundle deal that's included for $20, where somebody can just pull out $120 and not have to go break change, and if you can get them to give you $120, guess what? That $20 is going to be yours more often than not, because they get to just give you the $20 that they probably would have bought extra drinks with. Now they give you that $20 for the bundle deal. Same thing applies online. You want to offer bundle deals online as well. Now, for items maybe that you did pay for physically that don't sell, guess what? Don't worry about it. You can always run a raffle. Give it away for free. Even at your shows, you can give these things away for free. Online, you have incentive now. Hey, anybody that shows me proof that they downloaded my album, I'm going to give you this free t-shirt that secretly nobody bought. Give you this free t-shirt. It don't matter to them, because if they are a fan of you, it's valuable still, no matter if it's sold or not. They probably already have one and want another one. Now, when it comes to merchandise at your shows, you want to make sure you treat your merch booth like you would treat your store. This is your brick and mortar. This is your store that people have to be introduced to you. Keep it clean, keep it neat, keep the prices in very clear vision, because it gets loud on these clubs. Make sure that you keep it right there in front of the people and make it easy for them to make a buying decision. Whoever is running your merchandise booth, make sure it's somebody that's friendly, somebody that's nice, doesn't mind talking to people, doesn't mind greeting people even if they're not looking to buy something. They just pass by and look. Have that person greet every single person and say, hey, how you doing? If there's anything I can help you with, let me know. When you're on stage, make sure that you mention that you have stuff at your merchandise booth. Make sure you mention it at the end of your show, the end of your set. Make sure you mention that you got merchandise and that you'll be over there. And then even on top of that, make sure you go over there immediately after you get off stage. Go sign autographs, go take pictures, go say thank you. So all of that stuff, do it by your merchandise table. The strategy with that is to get people to first buy into you. Get them to feel like, man, this dude is really cool. And as you're standing right by your merch, let's say, you know what, this dude is cool as hell. I'm going to buy something. That's when it comes in handy to have all the options that you have. The keychains, the posters, the CDs, the t-shirts. That's when it comes in handy to have options. Let me see what I can get. Man, I got $10. I can get a few buttons. I can get a few pins. Man, oh, he got a little bundle deal. Cool. Let me go get that too. That's where it pays to have options. Now, when it comes to selling your merchandise online, I particularly use the Printfulcom, where they ship it out and they print it for me, and I can put up mock-ups. And I also use BigCartel.com. Big Cartel is just great because they have many different templates that lay out your merchandise for you, that make the buying experience super easy. You can use Stripe or you can use PayPal. Whatever you want to do, you can basically accept credit cards, and it makes the buying experience just that much more convenient for your potential customer. In conclusion, I want you to win at the merchandise game, but it's going to require you being strategic about what you invest into and what things that you're going to take chances on. So keep your quality as high as possible. Try to keep your overhead as low as possible, but at no cost should you sacrifice your value. So make sure that your items are great representations of your music and your character. Make sure that they're valuable for somebody who's actually a fan of you, and go out there and win at the merchandise game. These are my thoughts. I would love to hear your thoughts. Please leave a comment, subscribe, like. This has been another Artist Marketing 911. Curtis King of CurtisKingBeats.com.